Everyone. It's another beautiful time to be here on Enterprise Chat here at MSME Africa. I mean, it's the start of a new year, and this is our very first edition. And I'm super, super duper excited to be here
Qiqi.
to carry on with the conversations around business and enterprise, business and entrepreneurial opportunities. So today I will be discussing something that is quite interesting to everyone, and that's food security and sustainable farming methods. And I have with me Favour Adeleke Qiqi, so will be speaking to us on the issue. He's an award-winning farmer who is highly experienced, passionate, optimistic, and knowledge-driven. He's the founder of Qiqi Farms. He possesses first-class communication skills as well as a deep love for nature, and he has over 10 years experience in farm management and production. I'm going to peg it at that. Hello, Favour. Good morning. Good to have you on the line.
Hi, good morning, Aramide. How are you doing today?
Yeah, great. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well, right? I'm very
Again.
excited to be here today. I feel so joyful. Like starting the new year with this is something very remarkable. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity at MSM Africa. Thank you so much. I am really happy about this.
All right. You seem very much elated. So, but tell me, how's your New Year been so far? How's it been for you?
Uh,
How's it been for Qiqi
Truly,
Farm?
the year has been going well, because I've started some new projects and of course, the turnout is good. We're getting a lot more sales now, but yeah, there are little. I actually had a bit of challenges personally, but hey, for the business, of course, the new year is looking very fruitful for us.
Okay, so I mean, today now we're looking at something quite interesting because everybody, good enough for starting this with the new year because everybody is a stakeholder in the food business, right? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody must eat to survive. So we're looking at food security and sustainable farming methods. But let me ask you, you are the founder of Qiqi Farms. What exactly inspired you to go into the agri industry?
That's a very deep question, right? Okay, what really inspired me to go into this industry was it is based on my background, right? So my mom loves agriculture so much, so
Wow.
then she had a poultry, she grows vegetables, and visiting my grandma's place, my grandma only eats vegetable that she grows in a garden, but it was not enough. At some point, she didn't have the energy to continue well. You understand? So, and she has diabetics, right? And she's been managing it for well over 15
Sorry
years.
about that.
Yeah, at some point, I just wanted to do something for myself, and my mom had stopped the poultry at that moment, because managing and everything. So I just said that okay, let me just start something for myself. And that was I took a loan of 30,000 from my late mom to start growing vegetables and some fruits for grandma, and that's how we began. Just like joke. Grandma was enjoying it, then she was referring me to people in the general hospital because busy hospital every week. So that was how I began to get an idea of running a business, an idea of this. So everything just came naturally, and you this was not a plan that I had from you. In fact, there was no plan. It was just to do something and let's see how it goes. And glory be to God, at least we've been able to achieve some certain things from what we're doing currently. Like we've been able to grow in terms of our products, customer base, and we export our products as well to about 3 different countries. Products are in different restaurants, hotels, and that's just some of the things that we're doing currently. So God has really been faithful, and I think continuous learning and looking forward to improving the value that we offer. We've been able to fine tune our value, fine tune our purpose, what we really want to achieve, or which is beyond grammar. You understand? Yeah,
Okay,
of
but
course, because she makes me feel like it's beyond her. No, so
yes,
I
I
think
get that.
love
All right. All right. I mean, yes, you were recently awarded as part of the 20 African Young Innovators Award for Agriculture in Africa in 2022, and this was hosted by Reform Network in Zimbabwe. Congratulations. What do you have to say about that?
what I have to say about that is I'm so happy and grateful because we tried for about 3 years, we didn't get in. So it was that was last year that we got in. My experience in Zimbabwe was exceptional. Like I was actually proud of myself.
We are proud of you too.
When you put in so much energy, work, stress, and everything, and it just came like as if I'm traveling to Zimbabwe for vacation. Like, and I enjoyed every bit of my experience there. You know, from the training to the hotel to the places we visited, shopping here and there. You know, to the award, the networking, meeting people, exploring opportunities in their country, and even exploring partnerships with Forum, right? It's something I am very grateful and very happy about because honestly, Forum is big and we're looking forward to doing greater things with them. And at the moment, we're looking forward to partnering with them because there's a project that we're about working on at Qiqi Farms. So I'm a very young person. I'm still 21, right? So we want to launch so we want to launch a young farmers network of Nigeria, you know, whereby we can really inspire young people to see the value in agriculture and at least some of the things that I've been able to achieve. To God be the glory, right? But I feel that there are more young people out there that they could even do better than I'm doing currently, right? They could add something to the Nigeria, like to the economy, and you know, create jobs for people. At the moment, right? At Qiqi Farms, currently employing about 3 people now joining our team. So you know, so at my age, I feel that you know it's going to be of value to have more young people come into this industry, and Reforum is really ready to support and collaborate with us to ensure that you know this project is successful.
All right, Favour, good one. Good that you have things going on. I mean, really nice for you there. But let's look at the topic for today. Let's get into the actual conversation. I mean, there's a World Bank report that has actually said that Nigeria and its peers in the sub-Saharan Africa will suffer increased poverty, more debt, food insecurity, lower per capita income, and among other challenges, you know, in 2023. And we are looking at food security and sustainable farming methods. How have you been able to incorporate sustainable practices in your business model?
Yeah, so to us, right, you know, sometimes from the industry that I'm in, I tend to realize that over time, people just put out research, put out statistics, put out this figure, that figure, that figure. But when you come to the ground, right, when you're on the field, right, you tend to realize that some of all these things are not so true. You know, so when it comes to poverty, of course, people could say poverty to Nigeria, but for someone like me, I don't really believe that, right? I believe that we have the potentials, and we are getting there with time.
Yeah,
of course, when you look at the industry, you begin to see some certain rises in terms of rice. Although we are not doing as much as we can, right? But at least there's some consistent improvement, and that means that a lot can be done better, right? And like they said, Africa is arising, right? And the world is yet to see the Africa, right? That's really going to be exceptional. So to us, right, from research, because you know everything that you do, you have to know your onions, right? You need to know exactly what you're doing and how you want to go about it. So to us, yeah, the cost would go high, fine, but we just have to find a way to ensure that we abide with sustainable practices in what we do to reduce costs. And this is something that has always helped us at Qiqi Farms. We reuse the things that we do, and we recycle them.
If I may come in there, what are those sustainable practices that you were talking about?
Very good. So first thing first, right? When let's say you want to start a vegetable farm, I'm giving an example now. You know that your cost would be getting the seedlings, acquiring the land, or maybe you want to lease the land. Then fertilizers, very important, right? So on that fertilizers part, if you have a poultry farm close by, you don't need fertilizers. That means if the fertilizer is going to cost you 15,000-20,000 naira to buy, let's say for a year, you've reduced that cost in your production. So you don't need the fertilizer anymore. you could use organic manure. You understand? Of which have more health benefits compared to using a fertilizer or pesticides or things like that. And even for pesticides, so that's why people need to really learn and understand more about agric. So you try to ensure that in anything that you're doing, you're always reducing cost and getting more value, right? So there are other ways that you could even generate natural pesticides that does not consist of much chemicals, and you will not even have to spend more money, right, to buy all these things. So at the end of the day, you now look at it that, okay, you have a lower cost of production, and you can still sell at the market price. That means you're going to reduce your cost and even make more profit compared to other people that would have to buy this one, buy that one, and buy that one, and they would want to compete with you at the same price, at the same market price. And at the end of the day, some would say that their products, some say that they're not selling well. And again, when you begin to use chemicals and things like that, if you bring a vegetable that was grown naturally with manure and things like that, and you bring the one that was grown with more fertilizers and things like and all, if you put the two of them for 24 hours, you would see the difference. The one that was grown with manure would not go as bad as the one that was grown with fertilizers, right? So just in case a farmer like that, if he's not able to sell everything that day, it can take him 2-3 days. But the one that did fertilizers, it does not have, it only has between 24 hours. If it's more than 24 hours, it's a 50-50 thing. You understand? Mm-hmm. So the more you understand, the more you're able to reduce cost and provide more value for people.
All right, Favour. See, let me also ask more like in continuation of the reports that we have from the World Bank, because I mean these things we can actually see them happening. Like as at the last time, the reports that we got is that Nigeria's inflation even increased. It went higher. At the moment, it is 21.47. Now we're looking at the increase in prices of food, which went up like rapid, abysmally high as at last year, and it has extended to this period right now. Election is coming. As a farmer, what are the factors that you think contributed to this? I mean, what factors contributed to this skyrocketed increase in prices of food?
Okay, what I would say made the very strong increase in the prices of food, just like I said, is that so in every industry, right, there are certain things that industry would need for the industry to work. So let me give an example, right? Let's talk about poultry now, right? First, the feed consists of 70% of the cost, just the feed. And if a large percent of the maize that you're using to produce the feed in Nigeria are being imported.
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah, if they're being imported, that has a very huge impact to the costs. So as of last year, the price of feed for broiler starter, I think, was around 10,000, 10,500, 9,000, depending on the quality that you're buying, right, in the market. So that has increased the price. For it to 7,000 naira, right? So because of we are importing a large sum of this maize and soya and things like that, it increases the price. Second of all, the drugs, the vaccines, most of them are imported from China, from India. You understand? And it's the dollar thing, right? Mm-hmm. The more if the dollar goes high, things begin to go high. And that's why Nigeria we need to do more, even in our pharmaceutical industry, because the poultry industry is heavily reliant, right, on the drugs that you'd have to use, the vaccines and all those things. So because most farms don't practice organic farming as much, when you have farms that, they are producing 10,000 broiler chickens, 15,000 thereabouts, they have to use the vaccines or use the drugs and things like that. So the costs have increased. There's some drugs that you would naturally get for 1,000. Right. Now it's selling for 3,000. So it's actually add to the cost.
Okay.
But the more we begin to grow things in Nigeria and process it in Nigeria, the costs will definitely come down. So I strongly believe that these are the certain ways that we need to we need to imbibe that can help us reduce our cost of production, so more people can be able to afford what we have to produce, what the
Yes.
farmers have to sell in Nigeria.
So in
And
essence,
truly, having been
exactly.
to Zimbabwe and other countries, I can tell you that food in Nigeria is still very low compared to almost
All
any
right,
African
Favour.
country.
Okay, because of our time, let me just come in there because I mean, in essence, I believe what you're trying to say is more production on our side and less of consumption because Nigeria, we deal more on importation. We do less
Yes.
of export. We do more of consumption rather than production. And I think this is an area that we really need to look at. But what are the likely projection this year? Do you think there is any hope of reduction or stability in these issues?
Yes, I strongly believe so. I strongly believe that one of the reasons why the prices of some certain foods like rice and thereabouts are going high is because of the election. So more people would have to mop up the ones in the market, and there will be a scarcity to an extent, so the prices would go up. But I strongly believe that after the elections, the prices would definitely come down, right? Because when it's election period, things like this happen. Like for instance, last year, for the election, I know for a fact, that during that period, lots of politicians will begin to buy chicken, buy turkey, to give to their wards and blah, 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 and things like that. So that alone would, because at some turkeys were very scarce last year. They were always, turkey was on demand, chicken was on demand, you understand? But after the election, the price has come down. So I strongly believe that after the
Oh,
election,
well.
more price of food will come down.
Well, I think election might be a factor because the whole issue with food crisis is not just a domesticated thing. It's not just something that has to do with Nigeria alone. It's a global issue. It's something that
Yes.
we have in Ghana, regardless of election and all. But of course, I can understand that the coming in of a new administration pretty soon in a few months is one of the issues, one of the reasons that we might be having this in Nigeria. So let me also ask you, how do you see the agricultural industry future evolving? How do you plan to adapt and thrive in this changing landscape?
Of course, I'm very happy because I strongly believe that agriculture is the basics of any successful country. You just name the country. If you don't get agriculture right in your country and you're not food secure, you've actually not started, right? So to me, right, the next administration that is coming, we need them to invest more in agri because agri contributes about 21% of the Nigerian GDP, right? So to an industry that contributes this amount, if the government can basically allocate more funds, to support the industry, the potentials are limitless in terms of exports, even in terms of the local markets here in Nigeria. We import so much than we produce, and not because we don't have the capacity to produce. Let me just give a quick history. At some point, Nigeria used to be the biggest producer of palm oil in the world. At some point, the Malaysians came to Nigeria to learn and abide with how we're doing it and everything. And now Malaysia is one of the biggest in the world, and Nigeria can't even compete with Malaysia when it comes to palm oil production. And everything that the Malaysians did to grow their country in terms of palm oil, almost everything was gotten here in Nigeria. In fact, Malaysia is so big to the point whereby they've consumed all the land capacity in their country and they are extending to another country to even produce more palm fruits. And this is something that we have the capacity, we have the potentials here in Nigeria. So it's about the government and the private. If we begin to focus on truly what we have, just palm oil alone, it's just so big. Nigeria imports so much palm oil in billions every year. And still we produce. And still we even export some of the ones that we have. But how come we're not serving the local market sustainably here in Nigeria? It means that there is a gap. And one thing that I know in this industry is that to every problem, that's an opportunity for you to make money. And not just an opportunity for you to make money, an opportunity for you to create wealth, an opportunity for you to be able to add more value to the country, job opportunities, and things like that. So this is,
I mean, Okay, so good enough, because I just wanted to add this to what you said. I think we should encourage more investments and production in the non-oil sector, because I remember the last time, so like I think about last week, when the Minister of Finance was giving a breakdown of the 2023 budget. Excuse me. When she was giving a breakdown of the 2023 budget, and she's like, "Oh, based on the projected revenue for 2023, we are expecting just 22% from the oil sector, and the 78% is coming from the non-oil sector, as against what we used to have before. And from this non-oil sector, agriculture is also part of, what's topping the list and what is actually boosting our revenue in terms of
Yeah.
non-oil sector. So I agree with you on that. I want to take you back to where I touched on earlier on, talking about your award in Zimbabwe. What do you think sets your business apart from others in this industry, Qiqi Farms? And how do you position yourself for this opportunity?
First, I think I need to appreciate MSME Africa. I need to appreciate the value that MSME Africa really offers. Honestly, in Nigeria, when it comes to a community that is very intentional about entrepreneurs and always willing in terms of the value, I respect MSM Africa a whole lot. I'm like, Mr. Shea would always keep posting opportunities, would keep telling people apply, different sessions, and almost everything is for free. I can tell you that over 99% of the things that MSM Africa offers is for free. Most communities in Nigeria would not do like that. So to me, I respect and I really love MSM Africa, and I get lots of opportunity updates. But one thing about me is that to an extent I'm in different community groups. So I get access to different opportunities because because one thing I know is that what you can get in this community will different from what you get in another community in terms of the opportunity that you'd want. And sometimes because of these things are always diverse, the one that would work for you here would be the one that would work for you there, because of course, to all these opportunities, they have their criteria, and sometimes your business might not fit into the criteria. So one thing, before me and my team decided to go for any opportunity, we always want to be very sure and clear that, okay, we fit into this criteria before we begin to do the homework very well. So one thing that really sets us apart, it's the fact that we've had to redefine what we want to do, and we've been able to try as much as possible to always continually improve our content, continually improve the way we go about our business, right? First, in terms of sustainability. Second, in terms of technology that helps us drive the business. Third, in terms of the value that we're offering to Nigerians and how we strategically position ourselves to unlock some of the potentials in the country when it comes to agriculture. So these are some of the things that set us apart. And one thing that we are always very intentional about at Qiqi Farms is research and development, right? Because trust me, research and development is as critical as anything in the industry. So let me give you an example, right? In Nigeria, we have West African dwarf goats, we have the red Sokoto goats, but these goats do not grow as fast as it should to basically meet the market demand. And that's why with time, because we specialize in goats very well, see that the prices of goats are always coming up and they're not coming down. Why? Because most of even the goats that we consume in Nigeria, like a large percent, are not from Nigeria. Most of the cows that we consume from Nigeria, a very large percent are not from Nigeria. Most people in the north, most farmers in the north, they grow, but they don't really meet the demand. So they actually have to buy from neighboring countries like Mali and the likes, right? And when you look at the likes of South Africa, you see that they've been able to improve the breeds of their goats. Now they have Kalahari, they have Boa, that grow ×3 of the kind of goats that we have in Nigeria.
All right, Favour. All right. Thank you. So I wanted to make a joke about me not being a fan of goat meat anyways, but, but it's fine. So, but briefly, succinctly, in a few seconds, I want you to give your advice to young people who want to venture into agribusiness. What would be your advice to them?
Yeah, my first advice to them is that they should try to always intern in a farm, or at least be physical in a farm that you have interest in. So let's say that you want to go into poultry. My first advice is don't put your money in the industry first. Put your time, put your efforts, and try to learn and understand how things are done in that industry.
Exactly.
Right? Because if you put your money first, there's so many things that you would not know. And people always think that you can Google farm. They don't Google farm. You don't Google farm. You need to have a very practical experience.
You have to
and
get
exposure.
practical.
Yes. You understand?
Right.
You need to be physical. You need to understand the do's and don'ts of the industry, because Google might not know that one. The way poultry works in the US is different from the way it works in Nigeria. The way it could work in South Africa is different from the way it works in Nigeria. So you need to have that practical understanding of how it works in Nigeria before you can start to put your into it.
All right. Thank you so much. This is where we have to draw the curtains. Thank you so much, Favour Adeleke, the founder of Qiqi Farms. It's good to have you here on Enterprise Chat. It's been an insightful session with you today.
Of course, it has. So humbled. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. We draw the curtains. Like I said, I had a very nice chat. I mean, talking about food security and sustainable farming methods today. We do hope that you join us for our next episode on Enterprise Chat at MSME.
I'm always willing and happy to do this. My love for MSME Africa is just so big.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again. I am Ara Nimi. We'll see you next time. Bye.
All right.